So don't you think for sustainable development in Pakistan, we need to decentralize things and have a very efficient local government system? See, if a person sitting in the Imran Khan has to travel to Lahore, to the Chief Minister's house to have his issues resolved, why are the democratic forces in Pakistan, Pakistan People's Party, the Pakistan the PMNN said, why have they not evolved a good local government system in Pakistan?
You're very right, because we need 3 tiers of governance. First of all, as far as we are concerned, we have always been pro-local government, and in our previous governments, both our governments, first one and second one, we had local governments. We had local government elections. This time the problem became the devolution law, because in the devolution law, we all had very serious objections. Because as you must be aware, that as a result of this devolution law, the civil service of Pakistan has totally been destroyed.
Babu's takeover.
What they did was, in this devolution scheme, they devolved it to 3 officials, DCO, DPO and Nazim. And the linkages between the 3 have not been defined properly. So there is a big grey area which everyone thinks is the other person's responsibility, and nobody takes responsibility. So the district administration, at district administration level, the writ of the government has totally been lost. And as a result, many good civil servants left civil service. So there is a crisis within civil service. So this law had constitutional protection till 2010. So we could not change it, because it had this protection till December 31st, 2010. So after 31st December 2010, all the provinces have started working on new provincial local government laws. In Balochistan they have passed, in Punjab we have finalized, in Sindh they have problem between PPP and NPM. So they are also trying to have consensus. But now in the course what has happened is that we have come closer to general elections. And there is this issue, that if you have local governments just before general election, in the past we have all had our objections on the role of local governments in the general election, that they try to influence candidates of their parties or candidates of their choice. So then probably when we have come so close, the right sequence will be to have the general elections, and immediately after the general elections have local body elections. Otherwise, if you have now local body elections to be followed by general elections, then these local bodies will be called into question. The people will say that they should be suspended or dissolved so that they cannot influence the general elections. So that is why Otherwise, the law is ready in Punjab, Balochistan they have passed. I think KPK is also ready with it. In Sindh they have a problem between MPN and People's Party, how to resolve their differences.
Yes, any more questions?
Sir, there is one question. I just want to talk about this thing. Shouldn't it be manifesto of the party which comes in power, as in that state and religion should be 2 different things? Because we know that Pakistan is being considered as Islamic Republic just for the sake of calling it. Otherwise, there is no such implication of religion as Islam. So, shouldn't it be 2 different things when we talk about? Shouldn't secularism be the type of structure Pakistan should follow?
If you look at the real Islam is very secular, because in the real, this is the very narrow interpretation of Islam, because Pakistan was never meant to be a theocratic state. The vision of Quaid-e-Azam and the founding fathers was the vision of Prophet Muhammad, which he set for the state in Medina. And if you look at Misaq-e-Medina, that very clearly says that even the Jews, the non-Muslims are also part of the Muslim Ummah. So they have equal citizenship. So if you have equal citizenship, then there is no discrimination. This whole controversy of state and religion has a very typical European context. Because in Europe, what happened was that, when the church was ruling, they had a great fight with knowledge, actually. There was these burning of libraries and these punishment given to the scientists, and they were very much, anti-science. So this whole progressive movement in Europe found that religion was playing a very negative role. So then this, new movement started where they said that in view of the progress of the society, religion should have no role. But if you look at the golden period of Islam, when we had the glory of Muslim civilization in Spain or in Baghdad, and probably at that time, if Nobel Prizes were there, out of 190 Nobel Prizes for science would have gone to Muslim scientists. At that time, most of those Muslim scientists were also religious scholars. And we had no problem that, the religion was coming in any way in their progress or in their research. So, I think in Pakistan, our view is that Pakistan should be a state or society which should have equal citizenship. There can be no discrimination on the basis of your religion or on the basis of your gender or on the basis of your ethnicity or language. So again, I would go back to these martial laws. That what has happened is that during these martial laws, different regimes have tried to interpret the ideology of the state according to their own political interests, and that has created many controversies within the society. So otherwise, if we had allowed democracy to flourish or to continue, I think this sectarianism, this extremism would not be there in our society.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you that in the upcoming elections, why should I vote for Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz compared to any other parties?
Oh, the question I wanted to hear.
What's interesting for me as a youth is that I see you complaining and moaning about all the stats, all the facts, the index that was declining in the last part of your speech. So you're still part of the marriage at the moment, you are in the government and you still moan. So what would you come up with so differently in the future? And why should I vote you and not Imran Khan?
I think you asked a dream question, which I wanted to touch in my speech, but I was hoping that someone will ask, and then I will say. You see, I think the youth of Pakistan is a new reality, and youth of Pakistan is very educated, and they have a power. And with power there comes a responsibility also. So therefore we hope that the youth will make a very informed judgment or informed choice. Now, why should you consider PMLN not PTI, or why should you consider PTI and not PMLN? I would say that, as I said, the number one challenge which Pakistan faces is economy. We need to fix our economy. We need to put economy as the number one priority, because if we cannot push our growth rate to 7, 8, 9%, there is no way that we can solve our social, economic, political problems. Okay? Now, which is the party, which is the team which probably is more credible in terms of fixing the economy? Now, let me tell you, Pakistan's problem is neither its economy nor its politics. Our problem is our political economy, the interface between politics and economy. That we have not been able to gel together, and that has been the major cause of our failures. So in terms of the political economy, number one, I would say that, because you are the biggest stakeholders, what will be Pakistan 10 years from now? Probably we would not suffer as much as you would suffer, because you would be entering the real life and you have a long life to live, and so where Pakistan's economy goes impacts you the most. Which is the party in whose hands you think economy will be safe, for example? Let me put it the other way. If you have a choice to pick a CEO for a company which is almost close to serious crisis or bankruptcy, and you want to turn it around, what kind of CEO would you pick?
Steve Jobs?
Huh?
Steve Jobs?
I mean, Steve Jobs, was an innovator, but then
I see
I come back to your.
You guys have chances.
Steve Jobs, why?
Differently.
Why Steve Jobs came back to Apple? Because he knew what Apple was. Now I can give you example. Let us see from history. From the first person, Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, till this day, in human history, you will not come across a single leader, reformer or a prophet who was an instrument of positive change, who did not have at least 10 to 20 years of grounding in that system.
Imran Khan does from the past 16 years, isn't it?
No.
You see, he's been struggling, and you guys have it.
You see, it's
my simple question.
Just look at I'm here. Okay. What experience? Experience not from outside, experience of the system. You see, every public sector has an architecture. Whether you call it corrupt, you call it good. For example, let me give you an example from the purest example from the religion. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know, we consider him as the purest form. From 25 years till 40 years till his prophetship, he was raised and experienced in that tribal structure of Makkah, Quraysh, where he had good understanding of the tribal society, the power architecture, and he knew what alliances to make and what not to make. Now come to this 20th century, Deng Xiaoping. He started way back in 1949 when he became the mayor of a town. And from there on, 1952 probably, he became deputy premier and was, all along in the power structure till 1976 when he became the leader after Mao's death. He had that experience. Come to Mahathir. He started his career way back as member of the parliament, and then he was minister for education, he was minister for trade and commerce, and then deputy prime minister, and then became the prime minister. Then come to Tayyip Erdogan, today the success story. His success comes from his tenure as a member of parliament. He was mayor of Istanbul, which was almost like being a chief minister of a major, district here. Come to Lee Kuan Yew. He remained. Lee Kuan Yew was almost a chief minister or prime minister, minister for Singapore till Singapore became independent. So he came in with that experience behind him. Look at Quaid-e-Azam. Quaid-e-Azam had started his career as a sole member of parliament, was in Congress, served a long tenure in parliament, and through that grinding, he became the champion of Muslim League and of Pakistan. I can go on and on and on. All the successful leaders who have brought any change have been groomed from within the system. Look at Chancellor Kohl in Germany. He had at least 20-25 years of experience behind him. Look at the South American leaders, who have brought reform in Chile or other countries. They all. So, you see, I have been in politics for 18 years. I have been deputy chairman of Planning Commission. I am three-term member of National Assembly. I was education minister. But even today, if I have to get things done for my constituency, it is not easy. You sweat sometimes in order to get simple things done from this bureaucracy, even though we know it too well, I think. Half of the things you do through official channels, and half of the things you do with your inside experience and of networking within the system. This is what they even teach you at the business schools here, how to network to get things done. So if you do not understand the whole structure, this structure to is तरह घोड़े की तरह कि दुलती मार के throws any novice like anything. Look at Obama. Obama became president on the strength of the first-time voters, social media, on the slogan of change and hope. And where is Obama? Why? He did not have a single day executive experience before he became president. He was just a senator. All the successful US presidents have either been governors of the states or have been vice presidents. So, so therefore, you have to understand that, and then no successful change has been ever brought by a single man. This Messiah philosophy, is redundant in today's world, that one man will fix the whole system. What is the team? Where is the team? And today you see PTI as a reincarnation of Musharraf's Q League. You see, in my district, all the Musharraf time Q League walas have gone into PTI on the promise of getting tickets in the next elections. So for me, it is not PTI, it is a new label of Musharraf's Q League with PTI label that, you know, you are, so it's not one man on the top who will bring a magic stick and, you know, change everything. I mean, you need to have experience, you need to have a team, and that is where I said why you should vote for PMLN, because we have that economic vision, which we started in 1991, that we need to set up a modern economy, we need to modernize our infrastructure, we need to integrate with the global markets, we need to reform our tax system, we need to go for competitiveness for our exports, and that is the roadmap we gave in 1998, Vision 2010. That is as valid today as it was in 1998, because we've probably gone behind, not gone a single step forward. So, PMLN has Sartaj Aziz, we have Ishaq Dar, we have Khaja Asif, we have Shahid Khan Abbasi, thoda bahut mujhe bhi pata hai planning information se. So we have 7-8 people who have solid experience of running the economy, the political economy. No other party has that kind of team which can fix Pakistan's economic problems, and so therefore I think you need to give us a chance, one last chance, and if we cannot do it, then you are free to go there.
Connecting question.
But
Why PMLN feels more threatened by Imran than People's Party? Is it because People's Party is more diversified geographically, or is it because Imran Khan and PMLN both are right on the center? So they are going
You
to
see,
each from the same vote bank.
we feel little worried because we have an experience. In 1993, establishment through Islamic Front towards us, when you would remember, Qazi Saab was leading that Islamic Front. Even though in 1993 PMLN bagged more votes than People's Party, but because of that Islamic Front dividing votes on 27 seats in numbers, because if those votes had not been divided, our candidates would have won. People's Party picked up now about 25 extra seats.
Which means you admit that PMLN is a right of the center party.
No, we have center-right. I mean, we're center-right.
And Harun Rashid was writing articles in favor of Qazi Saab.
Yeah, Qazi Saab at that time, exactly. So that is our concern, that the youth of Pakistan who are wanting a change may not end up giving us another 5 years for Mr. Zardari by causing PMLN to lose 20-30 seats, which are very critical in this contest. Remember, the next defining issue for Pakistan will be, should there be a hung parliament or should there be a majority government? My view is another hung parliament will be a recipe for disaster for Pakistan. Because through hung parliament, establishment will be the winner. Because they would like to, you know, keep the political leadership under their control, and through 2-3 parties which are their puppets, through them they will dictate whosoever comes into the government that what agenda should they follow. I think the kind of choices we need to make on reforms, domestic reforms, and on the foreign policy, on moving forward to have peace with India and Afghanistan, we need a strong government and a government with clear majority. That is essentially critical for us.
okay, we are limited on time, so let's just take the last few
Let's
questions.
just take these two
As
questions.
much as we appreciate.
It will come from the most senior citizen.
No, lady here also.
Sorry, yeah.
You can have
Last-
yeah, you can have the last.
We have some time. We still have a few minutes, so.
Okay, please correct me if I'm wrong, but does your party not have a history of undermining the judiciary in the 1997 incident? Secondly, you see the economic policy is the most important thing. I have to agree with you, except that compliance and implementation is the biggest issue in Pakistan. I think you've also mentioned that. That comes with law. You need implementation, you need all laws and policies carried out and implemented. So it all ties back to the rule of law. The judiciary being able to be completely independent and being respected. So if your party does not have a history of respecting the rule of law or the judiciary, why should you be voted into power?
Good question. You see, first of all, let me say, I can go on to tell you that what was the 1997 incident, because there are many perceptions which are formed by the hidden hands to malign political leadership, and they become facts. Let me give you one example. You keep hearing कर्ज उतारो मुल्क संभालो जी पैसा खाओ जवाब दो जवाब दो जवाब दो जवाब दो. ठीक है. In 2001, Under Musharraf government, if you look at, still you can go to website of State Bank, take out the 2001 State Bank's annual report. It is recorded there that all that money, about $200 million, whatever worth it was, it went into State Bank's account and they retired the most expensive debt out of that money. Then as recent as last year again, during this government, you know, somebody put up a question in the National Assembly. Again, this government replied in the National Assembly that how that money was used, and every penny or paisa in that account was audited, accounted for, and there was not even a single paisa of corruption. So, but you know, you hear, so these are the perceptions which are made. On that judiciary incident, let me even go to the extent that even if we admit or if we accept that, you know, that is where we made a mistake, we have learned. We have said it so many times that, you know, people grow and learn from their mistakes, and that is how you grow in life. For example, Quaid-e-Azam started as a Congressite, and now you cannot challenge him, say that, you know, you started from Congress, how are you speaking as a Muslim leader? You used to speak of Hindu, you were an ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity, and now you are saying that there should be separate homeland for Muslims. Your credentials are doubtful. No. Look at Iqbal's poetry. Iqbal started from Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara, and from there, you see, you evolve in life through your observation and through your experience. So we have learned from our mistakes, and we have no shame in admitting that yes, we made some mistakes in the past and we have learned from them. And proof of that is that in 2008, before elections, we took pledge from all our candidates that if you get elected, you will work for restoration of democracy. We got elected, we could not come into government, we joined the coalition on the promise that they will restore judges. They did not fulfill their promise. We gave up 15 ministries and came out in opposition. That is a change. That shows our sincerity to the purpose. And then when everybody was put in house arrest, the game was all finished for Mr. Zardari. He said that, you know, I've conquered this long march, I've put Itzad Hassan here, Court there, and Munir Malik there, and everybody had been put in the house arrest, and there was no sign that this movement could go anymore. 3 diplomats called Mr. Sharif that we have reports that there is a life threat to you, please don't go out on long march. He took the courage and came out on streets, and we got the judges back, and we got restoration of judiciary. And at the risk of the life of our leader, that is, I think, an ample proof of our commitment now to independence of judiciary. So I think, you know, we have shown our resolve to have independent judiciary. We take pride that we have a contribution in that. Secondly, for last 2.5 years, we have a law in the Standing Committee of National Assembly where we are saying that there should be a broad, all-encompassing accountability body in the country which should carry out across the board accountability of everyone. Very recently, we have again said in this Faisalabad Jalsa that Mr. Imran Khan, if you have issues with us, we have issues with you. Let us, 2 of us, go together to Supreme Court and ask the Supreme Court to form a special commission to investigate if we have done anything wrong in our assets or if you have done anything wrong in assets. Let them decide the matter. But so far they have not come.